This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome into you. I'm Rebecca Smith.
I'm Bill Bryant. We're glad you're with us here on June 14th. It is Flag Day across America, which is also the birthday of the U.S. Army.
Good to know.
There you go. Good to have you with us.
Investigators are still trying to sort out what motivated the massacre inside a gay Orlando nightclub. I'm Kenneth Craig in Orlando with the latest on the investigation coming up.
The 49 victims of Sunday's attack have been identified. We'll hear more about one of those victims, and apparently that victim had ties to Kentucky.
Feels pretty good outside this morning. A lot of sunshine once again for today. There is a small chance of rain later on this afternoon, and the chance is mainly west. But look at those high temperatures, right around 90 degrees. Focus on the forecast, though, is about tomorrow with the strong, severe thunderstorms. I'm going to get into that, show you timing coming up.
All right, and here's the latest news now from WKYT.
Well, this morning the FBI following up on more than 100 leads, and forensic specialists still processing that crime scene in Orlando outside of the Pulse nightclub.
And we're also hearing incredible stories of survival and acts of heroism following the deadliest shooting rampage in U.S. history. Kenneth Craig is in Orlando and brings us the latest.
Thousands lit candles, cried, and shared hugs during a vigil for the 49 victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando Monday night. Carlos LeBron's close friend, Oscar Aracena Montero, was among those killed, and his sister barely made it out of the gay nightclub alive.
Thankfully, she's okay. She was able to escape. I love her so much.
Omar Mateen opened fire on partygoers early Sunday morning. Police later killed him during a gun battle. The FBI says Mateen appeared to be self-radicalized.
We see no indication that this was a plot directed from outside the United States.
Mateen's father says he was homophobic.
But at least one club goer claims that Mateen had been inside the club at least a dozen times before carrying out the massacre. Investigators have yet to confirm that report.
Luis Bourbano feels remorse that he survived. Seconds after he escaped the club, Bourbano stopped to help a stranger.
His arm was split in two, forearm, and he had a gash wound on his side, and I quickly took off my shirt, used it as a tourniquet, and just comforted him, talked to him, distracted him from being negative.
Surgeons tell CBS News the hospitalized victims are expected to recover. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Orlando.
And President Obama will be traveling to Orlando on Thursday to pay his respects to the victims' families.
This morning we are learning more about one of the Orlando victims who grew up in central Kentucky. 29-year-old Daryl Burt was killed in the attack. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is at our live desk to explain his connection to our state.
Good morning. That's right. Daryl Burt is being remembered as a fun and outgoing 29-year-old who just hours before he was shot and killed inside of Pulse nightclub graduated with his master's degree. Burt spent much of his childhood here in central Kentucky, growing up in Georgetown. During his high school years, Burt's family did move away. He had a reputation as a very involved student, participating in things like choir, student council, and drama production at the Indiana high school he graduated from back in 2005. Now, up until Sunday, Burt worked at Kaiser University in Jacksonville, Florida, as a financial aid officer working with the school's military students. The university president there says everyone at the school is still trying to come to grips with the fact that one of their own was one of the 49 killed in the shooting.
It's a community as a whole that's grieving and going through this, dealing with the shock and the aftermath.
Now, Burt was also a member of the Jacksonville JCs, a group dedicated to community service. Leaders with that organization say Burt always stepped in to lead, and just last year chaired a clothing drive for the homeless in Jacksonville. At the live desk, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
So sad. Thanks so much, Hillary. Well, people from across central Kentucky gathered in Richmond last night to honor the Orlando shooting victims. Dozens stood united during a special mass at St. Mark Catholic Church. The victims' names were read. Father Jim Sitchko asked everyone to pray for their families.
Those women and men who were mowed down on Sunday morning were all made in the image and likeness of the God we profess.
Father Jim ended the service by calling for a ban on assault weapons like the AR-15 used in Sunday's slaughter.
A vigil was also held at Kentucky State University in Frankfort. Students and staff gathered for a moment of silence to honor the Orlando shooting victims. Interim President Dr. Aaron Thompson talked about the importance of embracing differences among others. Thompson said the university is offering counseling to any students or facility that they may need. The University of Kentucky will be holding a memorial service tomorrow at the VIP Center in Frazee Hall. That's across from the Patterson office tower, and it begins at noon. And keep checking WKYT.com for updates out of Orlando. You'll also find updates on our WKYT News app.
Well, new this morning, we have learned a man is in jail accused of attacking a clerk during a violent robbery. Derek Hughes will be arraigned this afternoon. WKYT's Mike Byer is live for us outside Kennedy's Wildcat Den to explain what happened.
Good morning, Rebecca. 50-year-old Derek Hughes will head to court today after police say he attempted to steal several items from Kennedy's Wildcat Den and hurt a store employee while trying to do so. This happened yesterday morning just after 10. Police say that's when Hughes tried stealing 4 sets of headphones from the store. Police tell us the store manager witnessed Hughes trying to steal the items. Now, the arrest citation says the employee tried to stop Hughes from leaving the store, at which point he punched the woman in the shoulder and then shoved her to the floor, then stepping on her right ankle. As a result, the manager received minor injuries. She is expected to be okay, though. As for Hughes, he was arrested and is charged with second-degree robbery. Hughes will be arraigned today. He's currently being held on a $5,000 bond. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Thanks, Mike. Winchester police are looking for a witness to a deadly crash, and Bill is at the alert desk with details.
You're watching the story out of Frankfort, a story we've been tracking for a week now. Winchester police say a driver was blinded by lights when he crashed into the back of a car at the bypass and Colby Road. 2 women were in this car. They were killed. A third person had serious injuries. This morning, police say they want to talk to a driver who was in the area at the time of the crash. They say that person may have been driving a dark Nissan Altima with tinted windows. Police are hoping that the driver can give them some more information about the crash. That's the update we have on that story out of Winchester, Rebecca.
The trial continues today in a high-profile Lexington murder case. Mark Taylor faces murder and kidnapping charges in the 2013 death of Alex Johnson. During yesterday's hearing, the jury saw the barrel that police found Johnson's body in the Kentucky River. The jury also heard from witnesses for the defense for the first time in the trial. WKYT's Victor Puente will be live tweeting from the courtroom when the trial continues this morning.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
What another good-looking start to the day. We have a few clouds outside, and that always leads to a really nice sunrise. You can see that on our sky cam here, WKYT sky cam. Overlooking the east, it's 66 degrees right now in Fayette County, 64 in Frankfort. If you're walking out the door in the east, the eastern zone is actually upper 50s to around 60 degrees. So it's a good feel this morning. We get into the afternoon, not so much, because a warm front, that cool front moved through, right? Yesterday, you felt it, and that humidity was way down. But now that cold front has turned into a warm front because the warm air is wanting to come back in, and it slides through our viewing area. Today will be roughly 90 degrees, upper 80s to around 90. And not only that, but that will bring us that opportunity and a small chance of rain today. Most of it, I-75 corridor back toward the west. BG Parkway, Cumberland Parkway, that will no doubt about it be our best chance of rain today, and that's still 30–40%. So it's not a great chance. It's more about the temperatures today. You get under one of those, no doubt about it, you are going to get heavy downpours. Today, storms are not the focus. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow, here's your slight risk of severe weather, and it covers most of our viewing area. The farther south and southeast you go, better likelihood of getting away from severe weather. You still have the chance, but it's relatively small. It's a low and severe weather risk. The farther west and northwest you go, the better chance of actually seeing some severe storms out of this. Damaging winds will be our main player, anywhere from, I would say, 4 p.m. to about 9 p.m. That's the best timing on it as of right now. Now, remember, that's tomorrow. Then we get off through your day on Thursday, because that front's going to push on through the day after the storms actually move through. And so once it pushes on through, we'll still have a steamy day on Thursday, as we'll be roughly 90 degrees. But you'll start to see a big drop, not only temperatures, but humidity too there on Friday off into your weekend. I want you guys to look from north to south. Check out your screen real quick. Maysville and Mason County, this is showing up at 78 degrees. Then you go down toward Monticello. Remember, this is on Friday. Monticello at 88. So that front moves through. It actually brings us really, really nice air for most of the viewing area. 81 showing up there in Lexington. Friday into your weekend, guys, looks much better than the next couple of days. Next couple of days is going to be hot, humid, and also dealing with those storms, especially for tomorrow. That's the day we really need to watch.
It's hot and muggy.
Brings everything to the point, and
Yes,
then the
it does.
storms, and then cooler. So
You're right
it's a
about
good deal. Thank you, Micah. 6:10 the time right now.
Well, each morning we bring you weather and traffic.
And let's go to Officer Don with a look at what's happening out there on the roads bright and early. Hey, Don.
Hey, good morning. Well, no wrecks on the circle itself, and Man o' War still looks good. Off to a good start there. Just check the north side of Lexington. North Broadway is steady, and so is Newtown Pike as we get a live look outside right now at overall traffic flow. Now, no problems coming in from Jessamine County either. Checking Nicholasville Road, it's a straight shot past Man o' War. And there's a live look at New Circle in Leestown, courtesy of the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government's traffic camera, and both on the inner and outer loops and the exit ramps of Leestown Road. Things are steady. Of course, we'll keep you up to date throughout the morning. Now back to the studio.
Okay, Don, thank you very much. Light traffic so far, and we'll keep you informed as we go through the morning. A lot more news coming up on WKYT here early on your Tuesday.
Candidates are reacting to the Orlando massacre on the campaign trail, and today party rivals Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are scheduled to have a private meeting. I'm Hannah Daniels in New York. I'll have the latest coming up.
Welcome back. It is 6:15 this morning. The last primary of the 2016 presidential race will get underway in Washington, D.C.
And as voters go to the polls, the Orlando gay nightclub massacre is at the center of the campaign, and the candidates' responses to the shooting that left 49 people dead couldn't be more different. Hannah Daniels has the latest from the campaign trail.
Democratic voters in the nation's capital will head to the polls today. The same day, party rivals Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton plan to meet face-to-face in a private meeting. On the campaign trail, the candidates are weighing in on the Orlando massacre. During a stop in Cleveland, Ohio, Clinton said it was not a day for politics, but spoke about policy change.
If the FBI is watching you for suspected terrorist links, you shouldn't be able to just go buy a gun with no questions asked.
Clinton also warned demonizing all Muslims would play right into the hands of terrorists.
It's no coincidence that hate crimes against American Muslims and mosques have tripled after Paris and San Bernardino. That's wrong, and it's also dangerous.
In New Hampshire, Donald Trump presented a drastically different view.
The only reason the killer was in America in the first place was because we allowed his family to come here.
The presumptive GOP nominee argued the nation's survival depends on banning Muslim immigrants from entering the country.
If we don't get tough, and if we don't get smart and fast, we're not going to have our country anymore.
Trump heads to North Carolina today, where he'll hold a rally in Greensboro. Hannah Daniels, CBS News.
And Hillary Clinton will campaign in Pittsburgh before heading to Washington, D.C., where she will meet with Bernie Sanders today after the polls close at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Sanders has said he will stay in the race through the last primary to give his supporters a voice. New this morning, a French official says a man who stabbed 2 police officers outside of Paris used Facebook Live during the attack. The suspect stabbed an off-duty senior police officer and his partner, a woman police official. The couple's 3-year-old son was not hurt. The attacker was killed in a police raid. Officials say the suspect had a past conviction for terrorism. And the French Interior Minister says more than 100 people have recently been arrested, suspected of threats to France. A hearing to decide the sentencing for South African athlete Oscar Pistorius is underway at this hour. Investigators say Pistorius shot and killed his girlfriend Reva Steenkamp on Valentine's Day in 2013. He said he mistook her for an intruder. At his first trial, he was found guilty of culpable homicide, comparable to the offense of manslaughter in this country. But an appeal by a higher court later changed the verdict to murder. A vigil was held in New Jersey to honor singer Christina Grimmie, who was killed on Friday. Police say Kevin Lobal shot Grimmy as she signed autographs after an Orlando performance. The gunman fatally shot himself after Grimmy's brother tackled him. That's according to the police reports. Grimmy was rushed to a hospital and died a few hours later. Police say the attacker traveled to the show to target the 22-year-old former star of NBC's The Voice. Well, facing elimination, the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Golden State Warriors in Oakland last night. Kyrie Irving and LeBron James both scored 41 points, allowing the Cavs to cut the Warriors' lead to 3-2 in the NBA championship. It's the first time that teammates have scored at least 40 in a finals game. The series now moves back to Cleveland for Game 6. That will be on Thursday night.
Time right now, 6:18. The FAA is proposing a civil penalty against Amazon for $350,000, claiming it violated hazardous materials regulations. They claim Amazon tried to send a 1-gallon container of a corrosive drain cleaner via UPS air without proper labeling. During transportation, some of the liquid fire, as it's known, cleaner leaked, requiring some UPS employees to be treated. Amazon now has 30 days to respond. More flights are arriving at their destinations on time. That's according to the Department of Transportation, which says 84% of flights across 12 U.S. carriers arrived on time in April. Hawaiian Airlines and Delta were the best performers. Spirit Airlines came in last. Well, McDonald's is moving from the suburbs to the city. The fast food chain says it's relocating its headquarters from its Oak Brook, Illinois home to Chicago's west side. The shift comes in an effort to attract and retain more top-tier talent and younger workers. The move will happen in 2018 after almost 50 years in the Chicago suburb.
All right, moving to the city, and the Windy City at that. And our time this morning is just about to hit 6:20. WKYT this morning just getting started with all the latest on your Tuesday. Fed up homeowners fight back against porch thieves by turning a sting operation into a stink operation. The surprise they left for him when WKYT this morning returns.
We have a really good start to the day. It looks great outside, but storms will be on the increase. A small chance today, better chances, better opportunity tomorrow. And I'm going to talk about that coming up next.
And this is Flag Day in America, and here's a live look at one in Lexington this morning as you see the stars and stripes flying early on your Tuesday morning, June 14th.
Welcome back. It's 6:23 this morning. We are learning more about one of the victims in Orlando who once lived in Kentucky.
We've been checking into this, and that's what's trending at this hour. Friends say 29-year-old Darrell Burt lived in Georgetown during part of his childhood. A spokesperson for the Burt family says his parents are asking for prayers and privacy right now.
Winchester police need help finding a witness who left the scene of a deadly crash last week. Police say a driver was blinded by lights and hit 2 other cars at Colby Road in the bypass. 2 women in one of the other cars that was hit died in the crash. Police think the witness they're looking for may be driving a dark Nissan Altima with tinted windows.
It is an awesome start to this day as Mike is tracking storms for tomorrow. Let's check in.
Yeah, and we're seeing once again another good-looking start, no doubt about it. Feels good outside too, but it's a different feel than yesterday. I can promise you that, as a warm front is creeping in from the west. 56 now in Prestonsburg, and then you go back towards 70 degrees. Close to Fort Knox. So that just shows you that warm front try to creep on in. You'll feel it this afternoon at 90 degrees. And also that chance of rain is with us today. It's about a 30-40% chance, and most of that is going to be I-75 and westbound. That's your best bet to actually see some of those storms. Guys, the focus of the forecast, though, is actually tomorrow. With that severe weather threat, all eyes will be on the sky tomorrow. I'm going to show you the timing on that. Who has the best chance at actually seeing a couple of severe storms? I'll get into that in just a few minutes.
All right, today we're going to be certainly watching. We thank you, Micah. A couple that was fed up with a package thief is not taking any more, you know what, right?
What? I couldn't imagine what you were going to say. In fact, they're wrapping it away and gift wrapping it. The California couple set up surveillance cameras outside their home after having a package stolen from their front porch. Then they baited the suspect with an Amazon box with a, let's just say, special surprise inside.
You want to know what was in it?
Wait for it.
It was full of poop.
Ooh, the sting operation, or shall we say stink operation, worked. The suspect returned to take the dog poo-filled parcel, so it was from a dog, giving him one smelly score, in case you wanted to know. It also gave the homeowners and police a crystal clear view of his face.
So they know who they're looking for, and
There
he
you
got
go.
away with a pile of poop.
Turnabout's fair play. There you go.
There you go. 6:26 on WKYT on this Tuesday morning. It's so good to have you with us. We have a lot more news on the way.
When we return, Kentucky lawmakers weighing in on the Orlando tragedy. We'll hear what they have to say coming up at 6:30.
All of our top stories are on the way very shortly. Remind you that tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $293 million, and tomorrow night's Powerball jackpot is $153 million. Keep it here on WKYT.